Good morning, guys. The stuff that I'm going to go through is not going to be new to any of you. I'm sure you've all experienced all of these things as well. So law enforcement. You've all experienced dealing with cops on the scene. They usually get there before we do, thank goodness. So what are their concerns? What are their priorities? Scene safety, control. Is it a crime scene? Is it not? Is it a natural death? Is it a sudden death? Typically they're going to want to preserve evidence. They may call the coroner based on, some protocols by the coroner, which I'll talk about in a minute. Officers will communicate to the coroner. They'll communicate to the family doctor. They will call the funeral home if we ask them to, but we can do that too. If I'm on the scene, I can do that. I've done it. So that coordination, but the biggest thing that, as you know, the law enforcement are going to do is scene safety and scene control. And not only scene control and safety for the family, but for you as well, which you guys know. Coroner. The coroners tell me that Ohio Revised Code 313 is what they go by. I'll just read it to you. You probably know this, but a good review. So, Ohio Revised Code 313.12, notice of coroner, violent, suspicious, unusual, or sudden death. When any person dies as a result of a criminal or otherwise violent means, by casualty, suicide, or any suspicious or unusual manner, when any person, including a child under 2 years of age, dies suddenly when in apparent good health, or when any person with a developmental disabilities dies regardless of the circumstances, the physician called in attendance or any member of an ambulance service, emergency squad, or law enforcement agency who obtains knowledge therefore arising from the person's duties, and it goes on, shall immediately notify the office of the coroner and tell them all the facts. So that's the criteria by which they have to come. Unusual, sudden death, suicide, suspicious, crime, person under 2, or anyone with special needs. Now the coroner will come, as you know, the coroner will come. They want to control the evidence. They want to control the scene, control the body until they determine that they're going to release the body. They're either going to take it or release it to the funeral home, right? Notifications. So notifications, I'm sure you've all been a part of those. They can, I don't know if we ever talk about a notification going good, right, going well, but we can talk about them being okay. And certainly we've all been a part of them where they go bad. We had a run a number of years ago where a drunk driver killed a person. I happened to go with the medic crew to the hospital, and the family, arrived at the scene. And there was a security guard walking through where the family was, and just happened to say to the family, "Hey, at least the drunk guy died too." And that's how they found out their son was dead. Awesome. Right? Was on the scene of a death a number of years ago, got called there. It was HVAC repairman, addicted, huffing his, whatever that stuff is, right? The fluid in his truck. Died. And the wife was like, I don't want to call his dad. Will you please call his dad? Sure. So I called the dad, said, "Mr. So-and-so, I'm Chaplain Kellogg. I need to notify you that your son has died." And in his words, "That piece of shit huffed his stuff again, didn't he?" "Yes, sir." "What am I going to say?" "Yes, sir, he did. He's dead." Arr. So every case is different. Notifications are tough, but like we've heard already, be truthful. Don't gloss over it. Be direct. I was in Ohio Health PMC the other day. Well, not the other day. It was around Christmas time. Columbus Fire brought in a lady, like mid-60s, apparent good health, just had the big one. She had been with her sister some hours prior. Sister comes to the hospital. The doctor introduced me as chaplain, and the lady just started crying. And she said, "My sister's dead, isn't she?" And all I had to say was, "Yes, ma'am." So every notification is different, based on the needs, based on the circumstances, based on the family that's present, based on the situation, and, you know, is it sudden? Were they sick? What about news travels fast, right? Social media. How often are you at the scene and, you know, what seems like thousands of people have already come? They're already there. You know, you haven't even called the hospital yet, tell them you're coming, and the news is out there. So just be aware. You guys know that. Interactions with the funeral home. You know, a lot of times, like was said earlier, if it's sudden, a sudden death, they don't even know. They haven't even thought about it. They haven't made any plans. They don't even know that there's a funeral home in town, or 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So be armed with some of that information. Be gentle with them. Offer to call. If they want to call, help them. They may want your help. They might want the coroner to do it. They will do it. The PD will do it. You know, like I said, every situation is different. Hospice. I am not an expert in hospice. We have folks here that are. But as you guys know, if there's the DNR, you should not be called. But sometimes that happens, doesn't it? You got to see it, right? You got to see the papers. So this is big in Dietz's book about giving family time with the body. Tell them what's happening. Explain to them along the way exactly what's happening. Offer to let them see the body. But explain to them what they're going to see. You know, don't sugarcoat it. You know, they don't want to be surprised when they get there and, you know, the tube's still hanging out their mouth. Or in the case of a car wreck, if they're mangled, you know, sometimes that closure, that 2 minutes that they get with that body will mean a lifetime of health for them. Even if it's bad, even if it's ugly, even if, you know, the dead person's almost unrecognizable. Some people will want that time, and we should give it to them. If they don't want it, fine. We're not going to push. Sometimes you ask them, do you want time with the body? And they can't decide. They don't know. Like, should I? They're going to ask your opinion. Should I? It's up to you, right? How about your sister who's here? Maybe she can help you decide, you know, when they talk about it. Or some different advocate can help make that decision. I don't think we should decide for them. We should offer. And like I said, explain exactly what they're going to see. They shouldn't be surprised. As hard as that is, the truth is better than to be surprised.